Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of QRA Live with your host, me, and Jimmy Yin, aka the Acu Sensei. And I am going to check the chat. Everything is set up, tech is all set up, and we will get started. So, as got it, I've got the chat pulled up, so we are ready to go. So if you have, so QRA Lives, for those of y'all, as I wait for people to log in and people to type into the chat. QRA Live, QRA stands for Quick Restorative Acupressure. It is a technique. It's actually from QRA Acupuncture, which is Quick Restorative Acupuncture, is a acupuncture technique that I created in only our clinic, Achieve Integrative Health in Cedar Park, Texas. We're the only ones that practice this. And so today is all about how can I help you? So type into the chat any chronic health conditions that you are struggling with. Maybe you don't know where to go. You were given data, or maybe you weren't given information from your physicians, or maybe you've gone to other acupuncturists, you've gone to functional medicine practitioners, you've gone to physicians, you've gone through all the specialists, and you don't know, and you're still not getting the results that you want. Maybe you need more information about how to navigate, who to seek help from. You can ask any of those questions on QRA Live. And of course, QRA Live is, I will, if you would like me to show you a quick restorative acupressure for any ailment that you have, I can also share it with you live today. If you followed me on all our social media channels at Achieve Integrative Health, that's our handle. You've watched my reels, and maybe you have some questions about my reels. Type into the chat, okay? Type into the chat. First person, first come, first serve. If only one person types, then I'll spend about what they need help with, and I'll spend more 20 minutes talking about that. I have about 20 minutes. Again, disclaimer, I do need to give you a disclaimer. Anything that I share with you, it is only the experience I have and my team has with treating real patients in our clinic. It is based on our experience treating patients. It is not my medical advice for you. I cannot give you that. I am not a medical physician. I am a Chinese medicine practitioner. I was not trained in medication or surgery. I was trained in restorative longevity, which is something else that I also created. It's different from longevity, but type into the chat what you need help with. I got the chat pulled up. So what do you need help with? And I will discuss what I can if based on my experience. Last week there was a person talking and asking about Parkinson's, and myself and my team, we have not had success in reversing Parkinson's. So that's what you're going to get from me is you're going to get transparency, which is one of our core values. Okay, one of our core values. So if I haven't treated it, or if my team has not treated it, I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to say, hey, I don't know. I'm not going to quote research I'm not going to quote research that I read and say, oh yeah, maybe you can try proven clinically. As much as people may think, I've had physicians tell me, oh, acupuncture doesn't work or Chinese medicine herbs don't work because they haven't had research. There's no research done, right? All research is not accurate. I love research. First of all, don't get me wrong. I love research. But not all research is accurate. Many research are done on animals. Okay. And animals are not like humans. Okay. They're not exactly like humans. If they were, they would look like us, but they're not, right? So now it doesn't mean that animal studies are not valid. Animal studies are valid. Right? They give us clues as to what we could possibly do. But many of the research, like even on medications, there's not a lot of research done on medications. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of people going through using the medication and researching it, right? There's not a lot. There's research done on just 100 people, and they put it out, and then you're given meds based on that. Okay, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Hey, you're on. What questions do you have? and what questions do you have, and what questions, health questions, you're struggling with, and what do you need help with? Okay. As I wait for people to type in what they need help with, I will discuss certain things that I've learned as I am here in Taiwan, right? I'm going to talk about something that I recently learned about, because Taiwan has what's called universal healthcare. And universal healthcare is basically very cheap healthcare. They give you cheap access to medical care and fast access to medications. So, for example, even my dad, who I took to have physical therapy, he, you know, we went to his orthopedic surgeon, and the orthopedic prescribed physical therapy because my dad did not want surgery. And so his physical therapy was, I think it was like $2, $2 copay every time. And the orthopedic will give 6 to 12 sessions, will prescribe 6 to 12 sessions of physical therapy. But in reality, it's unlimited because he just needs to go back every 6, and then it's unlimited. And every time it's only $2 copay, right? In the US, and based on my patients, the patients in our clinic, what we've experienced is the US copays, they used to be $10 to $20. Now they're like 40. Some of them I have seen are $80 a copay, right? So there is a big discrepancy in, I would say the US healthcare insurance system versus universal healthcare. Universal healthcare is super affordable. That's the pros, right? Pros of universal healthcare, it is super affordable. People can get access to their physicians with almost minimal to no costs. So the pros is you get unlimited, like my dad had spinal traction. It's also called spinal decompression. And in the US, you have to pay out of pocket for services like that. But here in Taiwan, it's included in the universal healthcare system, which is only, I guess $2 copay. In the US, you pay out of pocket, it's 60, 80, $100 per session. And that's, prohibitive for some from people, right? People can't, because you need to do those tractions for maybe 3 times a week, right? And Tony, okay, thank you, Tony. I will address this once I finish this point. Okay. Um, so, but what's the cons? To this time coming back to Taiwan, I learned the disadvantage of universal healthcare versus in Taiwan versus the private healthcare and the insurance system in the U.S. The disadvantage to universal healthcare here in Taiwan is they get people hooked on medication. They train people to be symptom based. So the population tends to be symptom based. They want to just focus on treating symptoms and not fixing the root cause. And so they're training the population, the public, to have that mindset. Just get on medication and treat the symptom for life, right? So that's the one, the disadvantage. There's many other things, but since I've got a comment by Tony Walker, I'm going to address Tony Walker. Okay. So Tony Walker, back of neck gives me headaches. Is there something I can do besides stop looking down at books and phones? Absolutely. So first, let me share with you a QRA that can temporarily help you reduce those headaches. What you have is typically what physicians will call tension headaches. Tension headaches are headaches that come from your neck. Okay. They start from your neck, and they may radiate over your sides of your head. They may go over to the top. They may go to the temple, right, into your eyes. They're coming from your neck. So actually, I shared a migraine one last week, but similar tension headaches. So I'm going to use my hand as, this is QRA. Okay, this is not acupressure. Acupressure is one point which acupressure you'll ask, hey, what point do I use for headaches, right? With That's acupressure. You have a headache point, you have a whatever point, a weight loss point, you had a vision point, you have a diabetes point. That's acupressure. That's not what we do in our clinic. We do QRA, quick restorative acupressure. So this is your head, your hand is your head. So your wrist area is your neck. So if you want to treat your neck, you're going to target your wrist area. Okay. Now, is there a specific point? No. That's the beauty of QRA. There's a million trillion points. Okay. This is just one way that I'm showing you. So you're going to go around your wrist, and you're going to push, and you're going to find a tender spot. You can go to the inside of your wrists as well. Okay. And you're just going to push really hard, and you're going to find a tender spot. A very common tender spot is this one right here, right? You push inside here. It's tender for me because I've got some neck tension myself. So you're going to push hard right here, right? And you're going to hold it, right, for 10 seconds. Push it really hard. It's got to hurt. If it doesn't hurt, it's not work. You're not doing QRA. You've got to push hard and for 10 seconds. And then it seems like when you look down at your books and your phone, that's when your neck starts to hurt. It gives you that headache, right? So push down for 10 seconds, go up, down, pushing it up, down, and see on the right point. If it does not relieve it, that's the wrong point. Okay. So if this point doesn't relieve it, you're going to push around some more. Push around, push around, push around. I'm going to push around myself and see. Okay. I don't have any other tender spots when I push around. So I'm pushing side. Oh, here's tender. So it's tender here. So it's tender right here. So I'm gonna push here. So I'm gonna do this point now. Push it for hard. It's gotta hurt for 10 seconds. Move your neck up and down, side, 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 and see if it reduces your neck pain and your headaches. Okay. If it does, again, you got the right point. Hold it down, massage it for 30 seconds. And while you're massaging it, move your neck up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay. If it doesn't, you need to find another point. Now, because your headaches are coming from your neck is a bone, right? So you typically want to push on a bone in your wrist. So I am pushing on my radius bone, which is this bone right here, the head of my radius bone. And so if the problem is coming from your neck, which it is, you want to address your neck is a bone. So you want to press on a bone. So you want to press on a bone. So this part is your ulnar bone. So you want to press on the head of here. You can press a little lower too, right? But you want to press on the bone where it really hurts. That's where you want to find it. Now, do you have attention, Tony? Do you have a headache right now? Type into the chat. If you do this right now and let me know if it's working. Okay. If you do that. And while you're responding, I'm going to show you another way. So let's say the wrist area doesn't work. Guess what? You can still stick with your hand. You're going to make a fist, and you're going to come at this top right here, right? You're going to find the bone. So this is like this is my pinky area. Okay, yeah, but you have one. Okay, so test it out. Let me know let me know if the wrist one works. Okay, press on it, move your head up and down, and let me know if it works. So QRA, quick restorative acupressure, there's a reason why I call it quick restorative, right? It's quick. Once you press on the right point, your headache will start to reduce. If it doesn't, you have the wrong point. Okay. In our clinic, when we do quick restorative acupressure, we are expecting immediate results, immediate response. Does it mean it's going to take away your headache 100%? No, no, no. What I mean by immediate response, I'm talking about instantly it reduces it. That's what we do in our clinic. But since if can't come to my clinic, then you can use this. So this is method number 2. Okay. Method number 2 is you're going to go to your index. So this bone right here, you're going to press on this bone. Okay. Press on this bone. I'm just going to show you. There's a bone, the second bone right here. Oh, the wrist won't work. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. You're very welcome, Tony. I'm going to go ahead and show you number two in case the wrist one stops working. You're going to find this bone right here. See, when you just run your index finger, mine's pretty tender. You're going to find this top, you're going to press on the bone at the top of near the knuckle. And you're going to, because remember, neck is bone. So you're going to treat bone with bone. So bone, mine is really tender here. So I'm going to press it really hard. I'm going to press it really hard. And then I'm going to move my neck up and down, side to side, and see if it helps, right? And I'm going to, if it does, then you got the right point. But if it doesn't, you have the wrong point. You can press all around here, even in here. See the bones in here too. The bones in here. You can press in here and find a tender spot. Mine's not so tender here. Mine's mostly tender on the side. But you can also press, let me go this way. So you can press on the top, this top side. See, top side. As long as you're pushing bone, even here, pushing bone, you can push in here, grab it. Oh, that one's tender for me. Push it here, tender, right? And then move your neck, right? So this is so many ways. You can do that for every knuckle. This third knuckle, I almost flipped you off, sorry. This knuckle and this knuckle. There's so many ways. That's why I said QRA. QRA is not acupressure. Acupressure is what we learned in acupuncture school, which is only 50%, at most 50% effective, right? I know because when I started practicing, and when I started my practice in 2007, I started with just what we were taught in school. Is this point for this problem, right? It's like medication. They treated acupuncture like it was medication. Like when you have a headache, you take Tylenol. You have a headache, you take these medications. This medication is only for headaches, right? That's how we were taught acupuncture in school. If you have a headache, then you do these points. Like this is a common point for neck pain, right? It just so happens to be similar to my QRA. But the problem with acupressure and acupuncture, traditional acupuncture, is it only works, my experience when I started my practice in 2007, it only worked 50% of the time. And it wouldn't work. So it wouldn't work all the time for the same patient. So it worked 50% of the time and it was not consistent. That's why I had to create my own acupuncture technique, my own acupressure technique, because I was thinking, if I'm a patient and you only have 50%, there's only a 50% chance I'm going to get results with you, I'm not coming back. Okay. And that's why I had to create my own technique that now generates 90% results. And as Tony just exhibited, the QRA acupressure, that works also 90%. 90% of the time it works, right? It's not 100%. QRA is not 100%, but it's very, very close. And that's why my team in my practice, that's why we're the #1 rated acupuncture clinic in the entire US. We have over 750 5-star Google reviews. Okay. All right. Well, we do not have any other comments and any other help. So I am going to end it right here. Thank you, Tony, for watching in and commenting and asking for help. I do these as a way. Let me know in the chat below. Hey, if these are not helpful, then I won't continue to do them, right? These are just my ways of helping people all around the world. I have followers all around the world, Asia, Europe, Russia, Middle East, and not all of them can fly to Austin, Texas to get treatments from my team. And so I found this is another way to give back to the people, and this is things that you can do at home, because we are all about what's called restorative longevity. Restorative longevity is to restore function back to your own body, so that you're not dependent upon a pill. A pill could be a medication, it could be a supplement, it could be a herb. I don't want you to be dependent upon herbs. I want you to be able to be like the blue zones. The blue zones, well, they're herbs. They do herbs. They grow their own herbs, right? Their medicine cabinet is their garden. How cool is that? If you can just go to your garden, you got a headache, just go to your garden. You got diet, you got blood sugar is elevated, go to your garden. You got hypertension, your high blood pressure, go to your garden for medicine, right? Food, I think it was Hippocrates that said food is medicine. That is what they mean. The blue zones actually, people actually live that type of life. The blue zones are areas around the world who they live forever almost. They live above 100 years old, and they have a better quality of life than the average American in the US who is 40 or 50 years old. So people living above 100 years old have a better quality of life, better, higher quality of life than 40 and 50 year olds in the US. So that's the blue zones. And guess what? They actually don't do acupuncture. Okay. They may do acupressure, but they do herbs, right? In their garden. That's their medicine cabinet. So how cool is that? That's the life. If you want restorative longevity, that's the life you have to live. They move all the time. Like being here in Taiwan, I'm averaging 10,000 steps. That's close to about 5 miles a day without even trying. I'm not even trying. It's just going out and doing daily tasks, going out grocery shopping, using public transportation. I'm walking more than 10,000 steps per day. It's a lifestyle. In the US, I probably average 2,000 steps per day, right? Especially in Austin, Texas. It is not, the community is not set up for longevity. Okay, but thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, comment below if you want me to continue to do these. If I don't see any comments, the next week I will cancel it. But I'm doing these Sundays, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, QRA live with me. If you don't want these, if I don't